Welcome to the Workforce Workshop Podcast, where we teach you how to locate, attract, hire, train, and retain your ideal workforce to grow your business. With years of research, professional experience, and guest interviews, we're empowering business leaders with the information they need to know to build their business. Enjoy today's episode.
Welcome back to the Workforce Workshop new episode. Today, we will be discussing an SOW. So what exactly is an SOW? Statement of work is the superpower to see through the future and plan of action. It might seem like a Herculean task to centralize the process of an SOW management, but it's not. So understand the current statement of work SOW framework of your organization and approach them systematically for concluding the centralization process. A statement of work is being used in your current organization in one form or another. You must take a step back and observe the bigger picture more holistically so that you can set goals of better quality, risk mitigation, cost saving, and higher efficiency of the employees. It's extremely important to identify elements like service category, administration type, and engagement pattern to develop tactical business processes, which will simplify management. Service category you must know of the statement of work framework utilized by your company to complete its work, such as one of the financial services, business consulting, IT services, engineering, marketing, and many more. Engagement pattern. With the increasing acceptance of the statement of work framework in various industries, many consistent patterns are being observed in the market. For instance, organizations are using the framework in project-based managed programs, offshore or on-site, and dependent contractors, business process, outsourcing, and business services. Administration types, just like a tactical approach of managing the statement of work framework, fits best according to an engagement pattern and the service category. On parallel lines, the administration types varies on the condition that the program itself managed or has managed service provider. There is no denying that no two individuals can be absolutely similar, and thus no two statement of work frameworks can be managed the same way. In fact, as you start using more and more SOWs, the common trends will help you in identifying the engagement strategies that have worked and what needs to be improved. The statement of work agreement is structured based on various aspects, such as the corporate strategy, business goals, and organizational structure that influence it in a massive way. This episode is dedicated to be consistent engagement patterns observed in our client base. A word of caution is that these patterns are not the sole factor that guides a company in finalizing an SOW framework. Other mutually exclusive aspects make up the final structure. Finally, before we dive into the discussion of these patterns, remember that SOW's framework help you grow with higher efficiency and provide more opportunities to the employees while streamlining the entire process of achieving a particular goal that's decided or planned by the company management. Characteristics of statement of work pattern. According to the major engagement patterns, the common characteristics are deliverables, payments, unit-based, recurring payments, and time and expenses. With respect to the engagement pattern, every characteristic occurs rarely, occasionally, or frequently. Project-based. The project-based SOWs are definitely on the deliverables. They have a fixed endpoint and are a defined group of employees working on it. These employees are paid when they conclude all the predefined objectives of the project and complete the deliverables. In the statement of work engagement, the team is located on site generally, and it is selected from the full-time staff of the firm. Managed programs A statement of work for managed programs, it's not about a specific project or deliverable, but for a partner the company would like to retain. Here are the services are similar to business services, SOW, in the aspect of the involvement of multiple stakeholders, but vary in the type of service provided as they are much more comprehensive. The SOW is heavily independent on the allocated budget. When the budget for the upcoming year is planned, the deliverables might or might not be defined, but the company initiates a framework to ensure the availability of a supplier as required. Offshore or on-site SOWs. In an offshore agreement, the buyer has no idea about the resources and he does not track them as the partner organization manages them. There's no process of onboarding or offboarding or employees tracking, and the buyer is focused on deliverable primarily. The statement of work framework also includes subset of offshoring, example off-site, nearshore, and remote. The characteristics in the agreement for these subsets are similar, and the only difference is that the group of workers work and live in the origin country. Further, they resemble project-based SOW highly and give lesser emphasis on onboarding and offboarding new employees. An example to understand this type of company project can be picked from the automotive industry. Suppose a company runs an engineering design project offshore. Here, the company is not involved in the everyday operation, and the workers do not have to note down the expenses or fill any timesheets, including no interaction with the company that buys the final manufactured product. Independent contractors. Similar to the project-based SOWs, independent contractors also focus on deliverables, but they have specialized workers and they work independently to produce the desired end product. There are endpoints for these contractors, and the workers may be integrated into the staff or would be provided work off-site. A significant difference between project-based SOW and independent contractors SOWs that in the former, the negotiation take place between two corporations, and in the latter, the negotiations are between a contractor and a corporation. The end date of the project and all the specifics are discussed and negotiated in detail to avoid any irregularities or delays. It is extremely important to know that misclassifications of these workers can be a significant concern for the company. Due to this, regulating bodies have been monitoring engagement with them, and the companies have been more careful about classifying them correctly. Business process outsourcing, BPO. A BPO statement of work is signed up only in the case when the organization is not proficient in the field or is not interested in managing that particular function of the business. Thus, they look for procuring the same form from an outside firm. The most common types of functions that BPOs meet are human resources outsourcing, HRO, IT outsourcing, ITO, cafeteria operations, call centers, etc. These SOW are more prevalent among the larger organization as the incentive of partnership is huge for the suppliers. Example, the bigger the company is, the more services will be required from these BPOs. The key distinguishing factor of a BPO SOWs is that they have scheduled unit-based payment and services level agreement SLAs. Business services. This statement of work framework is based on multiple stakeholders of the organization engaging with service providers on a need basis. Majorly, the schedules and deliverables associated with this SOW are unit or hourly based and are performed according to their field of service or product. Generally, this type of SOWs are selected by people that need accounting or legal services or other services needed for the firm. One can never decide on a single prescriptive path for the SOWs that the organization needs, but it is possible to work through this perplexing path by approaching it thoroughly. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Links to everything will be in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe. It will help us to produce great content for our professional audience. Let us know if there is something you want us to talk about in the next episode. Please just click the link in the show notes and you can submit your questions directly to me. Thank you for listening, and we will see you in the next episode.
Thanks for listening to the Workforce Workshop podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Links to everything discussed will be in the description. To contact us, click the link in the show notes and you could submit your questions or share your story. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.